Hey, welcome back to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, and trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so you can easily choose the best watch for yourself in the comfort of your own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online. If you'd like to know the price, simply click on the links in the description below. We greatly appreciate if you purchase your next watch from us at JazzTime.com. So you'll be taking a look at the Patek Philippe 5167/1A. That means this one is the Aquanaut, but on a steel bracelet. This one with a full bracelet here. Again, the reference number 5167/1A. If you want to include the -001, that's part of it as well. So that basically means this is a full stainless steel Patek Philippe Aquanaut with the black dial, as they call it, the black dial with the steel bracelet. I'll be going over all the aspects of this watch, the case, the bezel, dial, the crown functions, as well as the movement and the bracelet, and I'll be giving you my thoughts on these throughout this video. So starting off with the case, we have the 40.8mm case. That's from the 2 to 8 o'clock position, same as what you'd get from the 10 to 4 o'clock position. Generally that diagonal, same distance, same 40.8mm. It's 8.1mm thick, meaning it's more thin than it is thick. It'll slide directly under a suit cuff incredibly nicely. Now, this one is obviously, well, maybe not so obviously, but it is widely considered, at least colloquially, as sort of like an introductory watch into the Patek Philippe line. And I tend to believe other people when I hear that, because if you do take a loop and you look at all the very tiny details of this watch, you'll notice that there are some slight imperfections, but don't let that deter you, because this is, even though sort of like an imperfect watch, it's still perfect and quite charming in its own right. So let's get into that. If we take a look here, we have a full stainless steel case, sand brush finish across the sides here, and with that nice, interesting high polished bevel leading into the tapering down of the lugs. Also a high polish on the very front, sort of echoing outward from the bezel itself. The bezel being the rounded octagonal bezel, it looks more like a 12-sided bezel to me, but I could be wrong on that, because I do see large sides with little corners here and there. There's also a satin brush finishing across the front of the bezel, makes it very, very unique in its design here, very much fitting in with the Patek Philippe, the sports lines at least. Now, the dial itself, nothing too new or different from the Aquanaut line. It has sort of like the longitudinal and latitude lines there, sort of evoking that sense of, traveling across the world, or just, keeping track of time across the world. And that's also given with that sort of like, well, what they call the black embossed dial, but something that they don't mention is that it does have sort of like a smoky look to it. It has like a sort of like a grayish, sort of like a mid-tone gray toward the center of the dial, and becomes darker toward the edges, and that actually gives you the higher contrast for the index marks and the sort of applied index marks at the very edge of the dial. You also have Arabic numerals, which altogether actually work very nicely with the luminescence here. The hour and minute hands actually clipping my highlights. They're the brightest part there. So you'll be able to actually keep track of the luminescence and the time in any lighting situation very, very easily, actually. So, and it's actually quite long lasting. I tested it myself. It lasts for quite a long time, honestly. Okay, the hand for the seconds, lance style, not loomed, doesn't really need to be. Patek Philippe don't really put too much emphasis on seconds, because let's face it, when someone asks you what time it is, you give them the hour and the minute, but not so much the seconds, because the seconds are constantly changing, and basically what matters is what the time is now, not what the time specifically is going to be in 1 second. So very interestingly and quite actually thoughtful from Patek Philippe themselves. So the hands themselves, the hour and minute hands, 18 karat white gold. The rest of this, all, the typical white gold applied Arabic numerals with the luminescence on them. There's also a date window at the 3 o'clock position, sort of right behind that minute hand. You can see there, black text on a white background makes it very easy to see in any lighting situation. The best sense of contrast is always with white background, black text. All right. Now taking a look here at the crown functions, simply unwind the crown at the 3 o'clock position. This allows you to wind the watch at the base position, so if you're at a dead stop, about 20 to 30 full winds gets you to the full power reserve. Pull the crown out to the next position, and there we go. You can advance the date by 1. It's about a half turn to advance the date, so it feels like you'll be turning it for quite a bit before the date does actually actuate and switch over to the next. So you won't have any accidental overshooting of the date if you need to quick set it, should you so desire, or actually need it. Going through the entire month here, it takes a while. All right, pull the crown out to the final position. The seconds hand does not stop, it just keeps going, but if you are familiar with Patek Philippe watches, you can actually sort of apply a tiny bit of pressure backwards on that minute hand, rotating that crown clockwise just slightly, placing just enough pressure, you can actually stop that seconds hand right where it is, and in some cases actually push it backward a little bit, depending on how much pressure you place on there. All right, so if you are experienced in the world of the 324 movement from Patek Philippe, this is no different. You can just set the time nicely and precisely doing so. Once you are ready, just simply press that crown in and screw it back tightly against the case. It ensures water resistance down to 120 meters, so definitely a good waterproof watch from Patek Philippe. It keeps its water sealing much better than most other luxury watches that do have the same sort of form factor of also doubling as a dress watch. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the movement is the 324 SC, basically sort of like the bread and butter of Patek Philippe watches here. Let me pull up my notes here. Gives you the option for the date, the sweep seconds, that center mounted seconds hand with the lance style on there. You also have a diameter of 27 millimeters, thickness of only 33.3 millimeters, 217 total parts, 6 of them being bridges and 29 of them being jewels. The power reserve for this, between 35 and 45 hours, depending on the, obvious differences in workmanship, because this is sort of like the Rolls Royce of luxury watches. They sort of have this, well, they don't sort of, they are all handmade and hand finished, so you do have slight variations within that mainspring barrel. The winding rotor also quite visible with that 21 karat yellow gold with the Patek Philippe, that sort of Calatrava cross on there. Gives it a very unique look as well. Nothing too new from the 324, but if you've never seen one before, this one is definitely one for the collection. Beats at a frequency of 28,800 vibrations per hour, or 4 hertz, so you do have that good sense of precision when you need to measure the seconds when you are actually using that seconds hand. The balance spring Gyromax with a Spiromax, or sort of what's basically a silicon balance spring. So that basically means that it's so anti-magnetic it may as well just be amagnetic, and it also keeps track of time even if you take a few bumps here and there. No effect on the timekeeping ability of the movement. Now taking a look here, you can also see that this does have the stainless steel bracelet, something incredibly rare, and actually the more common version of this watch is the 5167A, not the 1A, but the 5167A, which is that with the black strap, the black rubber strap, with obviously the double deployment. But here you have the stainless steel bracelet, sort of like the inverse of the Rolex Oyster bracelet. Feels very comfortable when you roll it between your fingers, and the spacing among the links basically allows your wrist to breathe very easily and very freely throughout the day. Satin brush finish down the center, intermediate links, high polish along the outer edges of the links. You also have the double deployment clasp here, so just simply press the 2 sides to open it. It basically won't actually pull open, you actually have to press in both sides to deploy it. And it's actually not easy to just break off your wrist, so you do have that added sense of security there, all stainless steel in its construction again. Now, trying this on my wrist, as I showed earlier, it actually fits quite nicely on my 7-inch wrist. Granted, it's a little bit big for me. I prefer, 36 millimeter and, like sort of like the higher end of the mid-size watches, but that's me. If your wrist is bigger than 7 inches, maybe 7.5 or 8 inches, they'll still fit you quite well. Plenty of spacing underneath the lugs for me. Not an issue though, because if you do have a larger wrist, it will sit very nicely and it will actually still maintain that good sense of wrist presence, that nice, large, sort of wider, but still flat sort of form factor on the wrist. So again, tiny bit of space under the lugs, but not an issue because the breathability of the bracelet does make it so that I can wear this all day, every day, should I so desire. And of course, the full bracelet means there's plenty of links to go around. The pin and sleeve system here, still in use, but it hasn't failed and it will never fail because, Patek Philippe, they're all about that sense of precision there. And even though, this watch is probably the epitome of the lack of precision from Patek Philippe, again, there are other videos out there that show the tiny imperfections of, this sort of model line. But, even despite all of that, this is still an excellent entry-level watch into the Patek Philippe world. The retail pricing for this one around 26,000 USD, at least as of the making of this video. And of course, the market price is a little bit higher than that, but we do have this for sale here at Jazz Time. So if you'd like to pick this watch up and you like this watch, this one is actually for sale. You can actually pick this up from us right now at jazztime.com. Links in the description below where you can get it for the lowest possible price anywhere online without having to go to an authorized dealer, wait in line for however many months or even years to even have a chance of getting one offered to you at, the retail price. So if you want to get one now, it's available. Also, if you have any other watches that you'd like to see for sale, you can see them at our website, again, jazztime.com. Links in the description below where you can get those for the lowest possible price anywhere online. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we go live with another video like this one. And as always, purchase this watch from us at jazztime.com. This one's for sale. You can get it right now. And we'll take care. We'll see you in the next video.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in Jazz Time, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.